Hi, everyone. I'm Mariquita Solis, live stream representative of All Creatures, all-creatures.org. All-creatures.org was founded in 1998 and is a leading resource for faith-based animal rights veganism. Led by our executive director, Tams Nicholson, we provide free resources for people seeking to live compassionately towards all creatures. Our extensive library includes vegan sermons and commentaries, animal rights strategies, action alerts, events, and works by various vegan authors. We also sponsor websites for animal rights organizations. Our mission is to unite compassionate individuals worldwide who honor the dignity of all creatures. So today we're honored to welcome my good friend Meryl Fury, MSRN. For decades as a public health dedicated nurse, Meryl discovered the deep healing power of food as medicine, embracing a path of whole food, plant-based eating and education. Fueled by a personal journey that began at age 15, along with extensive education in nursing, plant-based nutrition from the Colin Campbell Center, and culinary training from Rouxbe and Forks Over Knives, Meryl is passionate about transforming our approach to child nutrition. Now, as president, CEO, and visionary leader of the plant-based nutrition movement, an IL 501 nonprofit organization, Meryl's expertise and commitment drive PBNM's 6 Million Seeds initiative, aiming to empower the next generation with the knowledge and benefits of plant-based eating for a healthier future and making possible plant-based food options in our schools nationwide. So I'm really excited to talk to you, Meryl, about this. This is so needed. So thank you for joining me again.
Oh, you are so welcome. It's always a pleasure to spend time talking with you, Mariquita.
Well, all right, everybody that's watching, if you're watching on the replay, let us know where you're joining from, because we want to hear. I'm in Atlanta area, and Meryl, where are you?
I am in Wisconsin, just over the state line from Illinois. And I'm going to just put this one thing in here. I have a dog who's out on my back porch. She's enjoying the weather, but she may want to come in soon. So if I have to jump up and run and let her in, it'll only be a few seconds. Okay.
It's all good. I've got a dog here with a little bit of a stomach issue who's hopefully going to make it through the thing. Yeah, I don't know. He wasn't feeling that well this morning, but so we might all have to take a dog pause, but hopefully.
Right.
It's all good. We'll go on. Okay. Right. So let us know if you're watching, please like and subscribe and let us know your questions and comments, because we need to know. I mean, sometimes we feel stuck as how to help the younger generation, and even how to help get the message across to people that are very sick and in poor health. So how did your journey start then, Meryl? How did you discover this new way of living?
So I started when I was 15 years old. And that came about because at that time, the cost of groceries was skyrocketing, and meat in particular was going up very quickly. And my mother was really upset about the whole thing, right? It was destroying her food budget. And she was very clear. She was a gym teacher. She'd been, had her bachelor's in education and physical education. And she was really clear that everybody needed to eat meat at least twice a day, right? And then the milk and cheese was extra, but meat was center of plate. That was very important, right? Part of your 3 square meals a day. And when the cost of beef started to go up really high, quickly, she was like, oh my God, how am I going to feed you kids, So it was only me and my brother in the house at the time. We had a family of 4. And she complained what seemed to me at the time like she didn't stop complaining. She just complained endlessly all the time. And at one point, I went over a friend's house, and both of us, age 15, just said, look, in order to settle our moms down about this whole meat and the cost of meat thing, we just won't eat it. We'll give our amounts, our servings over to mom, dad, brother, sister, whoever else wants it can have it. We just won't. And that will be 21 servings per week or thereabouts that we won't have. And it's not a big deal. It's fine. Well, when I told my mother that, she basically thought I had lost my mind and I was going to get very, very sick and possibly die. And that's not how you grow up big and strong. And how are your bones going to be? And you're going to be a weak, little skinny thing. And I was already a skinny thing. That wasn't going to change. So that's how it started. And from there, it just progressed. I danced back and forth over the line for a long time. So that was when I was 15, it was no meat at all. No animal flesh. Still eating cheese and yogurt, ice cream, dairy products, and eggs. So I guess I was at that time a lacto-ovo vegetarian, right? That was the term back then. Then as I got older and I started reading more and learning more, and there wasn't a lot available to me that I knew how to find at age 15. But as I learned more and I kept living that way, I just felt better and better. I just felt healthier. I felt less, I don't know what that was. I just felt better. I can't even describe what I felt at that age. And then as time progressed, I started studying natural medicine and herbology, and that made it even clearer that plants are very important. They are literally food as medicine. It is important to continue that. And then I got older, I went into nursing, and that was a whole nother facet of health and study and, learning about body systems. And then about 10 years ago, I'm going to say, maybe a little longer, I never marked the year in my mind. There was a E. coli outbreak in poultry. I think it was ground turkey in particular, E. coli. And I had already been struggling. Like I cannot continue to eat animal products like this. I cannot. It's making me sad. It's making me blue. It's upsetting me. And the only reason I was still eating them is because I was married to a man, still am married to the same guy, who is a born and bred Wisconsin cheesehead. And I didn't want to have to cook 2 meals, one for him and one for me. So I compromised and kept eating the poultry products until finally one day with the E. coli outbreak, I was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I don't think this is a healthy way to eat. It's never been my favorite way. I compromised because, we got married and now I'm not going to do it anymore. And that's when that ended. I think that was about 10 years ago.
Wow. Well, that's a very interesting story. The fact that, it was a very logical, but very kind thing that you did when you said we're going to give our share away.
Yeah. And it really wasn't, it was kind in that I cared about my mom, right? I wanted her just to settle down. It didn't settle her down though, really.
No, because then she had to worry about what you're going to eat. You're going to grow up to be a scrawny weakling. So
exactly.
That's funny, but it's very typical. So that's a great story. So, most people that are watching probably, I would say a high percentage know that we don't have to eat meat. And I'm wearing actually my Rowdy Girl hat.
Nice.
Yeah, so from the sanctuary there. Thankfully, that is, those animals are free and happy now.
Right.
So, yes. So I was just speaking with someone yesterday or a couple of days ago, and about a death in their family, and they said, that all the men die of heart attack and stroke. It's just genetics, right? And then it was very hard for me not to say. So of course, I wasn't going to say anything at that point, right? This person was grieving and everything, but immediately I think, what's the eating pattern, right? That's causing this, and it's very sad that it's not an awareness that most people think about, or even doctors bring up. They say,
right.
This is in the family, so be aware. The hard facts are you're probably going to go this way too, which is very disempowering.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Sadly, our medical profession, I'm a registered nurse, right? So I've seen both sides of that, both as someone who worked in clinics and managed clinics and did home visits. My specialty has always been public health. to know that doctors do not tell, we do not learn, first of all, that food can have that big of an impact on someone's health. We've been trained that genetics carry all of the code, and you are going to live and die by your genetics. That's it, right? You can make small adjustments, but your genetics are still going to rule in the end. And what we know now is that genetics are a part of the story, most definitely, but that's not the entire story. Now we know that environment has such an impact in what you put in your mouth and your stress level. And are you around, secondhand smoke? Are you around people who are toxic? Are you getting any exercise? How's your rest, your restorative sleep and rest? All of those things are critically important to how the body responds to the different messages it gets about health and illness and what carries the most weight.
Well, what would you say to someone that's just very depressed about the situation of, people not listening to them? If it was someone that was always going out and telling her family or trying to be an advocate for good eating and veganism, and then just simply thinking there's no hope, everyone's laughing at me, what would you tell that person?
This is going to be hard to accept. This is what I would say, because I was that person. I was that person who just, endlessly, and I probably still am that person, to be honest, telling my family about, this food and that food and what I read most recently in this article and how this has this impact and this has another impact. Sadly, on an average day, people don't really want to hear that unless they ask. They don't want to hear it. It is like when you tell people without them requesting the information, it's like you're sort of judging them, and you're the bearer of bad news, So what I would encourage anyone to do, and this is my own experience, wait for someone to ask. Try not to be the food police, because nobody likes the food police.
That's hard.
It is hard. It's really hard. It is so hard. But otherwise, we wind up being ostracized. Nobody wants to be around. Okay, like really, the last time you went to a barbecue and they were doing hot dogs, did anybody there want to hear you say hot dogs are carcinogenic? No, they did not. No, they did not. And they will wind up ostracizing you, saying, "Oh God, here she goes again. Here, oh my goodness," The flip side of it is, though, I would encourage that same person to find a community of people who are interested in this message, who have a like mind or a like mission. If we're on a mission, a lot of times we are, right? Find people who can support that conversation and who can, I have friends who are food nerds, right? And we can sit and talk about food for hours, talk about the ups and the downs and the goods and the bads and the supply chain and the, impact it has on the world around us. We can do that. Best to keep those conversations, I think, for people who have the bandwidth and the capacity for those conversations. Food conversations have gotten to be like when Mariquita, when you and I were kids, we didn't talk about religion and we didn't talk about politics, right? Food is like that. That's what I see, right? So if you can keep the conversation in a public setting or in a family gathering, keep it light and easy, value the relationships that you have with people and try not to make food the pivotal point, then you get to keep those relationships with people. And you can have your deep, heavy conversations about food with people who are up for those conversations.
Right. And so,
Mariquita, hold on 1 second. My dog is jumping up and down. I'll be back in like 5 seconds.
Okay, no problem. We know how that is, everybody. Okay, so everybody that's watching, thanks for joining us, and please like and subscribe. And if you know of a guest that you might want to see on here, please let me know. You can find me on social media very easily. All right, here comes Meryl.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That was a word from our sponsor.
Yes. So when you're reading someone, I mean, a lot of times we don't know how to read people, like when you're saying if they don't want to hear it, or what's a good tip on that?
That they don't want to hear it.
How do you know who wants to hear it and doesn't want to hear it?
I don't think I would even try. I mean, if someone came up to me and said, Meryl, my blood pressure is starting to go up, or I just came back from the doctor, they say I'm anemic, or I just had an exam and they say, my menstrual cycle, my hormones are off, my menstrual cycle's going crazy, whatever. You have any suggestions? Then I'll tell the person, or if they say something like, my stomach's just been off. I mean, people know I'm a nurse, so they will ask me at sometimes health-related questions. Then I will give them, my suggestions. If it doesn't come up like that, basically these days, I just don't. I just don't. And there are even times, like I have a close group of friends who knows very, very well what that I lead a nonprofit that's all about this kind of thing, that it's my mission in life is to reduce suffering of all kinds through food as medicine, choosing food wisely. And even then, as we get older, some of my friends they know this stuff very well about me, they'll bring up, oh, well, my blood pressure, or, oh, my eyesight, or, oh, my arthritis, or, oh, my whatever. Unless they ask me, I might say, well, there's other ways to handle that. That's about as far as I'll go. There are other ways to handle it. You don't have to have those pains, but
I like that line though. There's other ways to handle that. And then you wait. That's one thing that, we might not be I shouldn't say we. One thing that I might not be the best at is waiting, just to wait for the response, just put that little seed out there to see. I mean, are they going to take it? Or are they going to just move on to the next thing?
Right.
So, I mean, letting go of agendas. So, I mean, I think I definitely am working on that. That'll be a lifelong thing that I'm working on. So,
yeah. And always, of course, in a gathering, if you can bring a dish to pass, if it's one of those kind of gatherings, bring something super yummy and it doesn't have any animal products in it. You don't even have to say. In fact, I would say, don't say this is vegan. Just don't say. Just don't say. Just say this.
Because then they won't eat it.
Yeah, because it's going to be horrible, right? But just put the dish on the table and have it well presented. Black bean and mango salad. Who can get mad about that? Right? Just put it on the table.
Right. Yeah.
You don't need to make any proclamations or announcements. And if anybody asks for the recipe, okay, I'll send you the recipe.
No, that's very good advice. So Ellen is here and she's doing her best. Yeah, working with kids. Also, I mean, I can't even. She's a seamstress. Is that the right word? I mean, correct me, Ellis. I mean, Ellis. See, I don't know what I'm saying here.
Yes,
seamstress, Ellis, whatever. Anyway, yes.
A master sewer.
Master sewer. Yes.
I don't know that that's correct. That's just what I say. But she's really good at that.
She's very good and also very compassionate. And she had her own journey, which was nice. Her own journey was non-pressure, just watching. And then, so that is very important that we don't put this heavy pressure or any pressure on anyone. We allow them to be on the journey themselves.
Yeah. It would be like if I was Catholic and I said, okay, you're Jewish and you should be Catholic now. Like, who takes that? Nobody. I'm a Republican. You should be a Republican, not a Democrat anymore. No, nobody wants that, right?
Right. You're right. And the best thing to do is just be a good example of health. And that is so powerful when we can be good examples of health. So tell me about your organization. So, Plant-Based Nutrition Movement. You're the CEO.
Yes. So it is an Illinois. It's based in Illinois. It's an Illinois nonprofit, 501c3. So our mission is to help people reduce the burden of illness by helping them eat as many fruits and vegetables, seeds, nuts, whole grains, legumes, mushrooms as possible to move them along the continuum of health, right? We believe food is medicine, and that is what we support. Oh, well, there she is. I love that about her. She's so good. Okay. That may or may not work. Anyway, and actually Ellen is a member and strong supporter, very active member of plant-based nutrition movement. So we also teach people about cooking. That's one of the things that Ellen does is she holds cooking classes down in her part of Illinois, which is amazing and wonderful. We also do presentations. We'll go on podcasts like this. We create events as well.
I love it. That's just background music.
She's so funny. Oh my gosh. She's laying on the floor, not barking at anything that I can tell. Making her presence known. Thank you very much. Shh, come here. Come here. You're making a lot of noise. Anyway, so we put together events as well. So, and we do public speaking. A lot of it is me out doing that part. I'm kind of the face of the organization in most cases. So, like for instance, this past weekend, I provided a recorded piece for the National Health Association, their annual conference. Coming up, I'll be presenting at the HELP conference, which is in Jupiter, Florida this year, and that's about health equity for under-resourced populations that have a hard time getting equal access to medical care. We are working on creating a Let's Beat Breast Cancer event. I'm also a Food for Life instructor. So we're doing a Let's Beat Breast Cancer event here about 30 minutes south of me in Waukegan, Illinois. And that will be, doctor presenting a breast cancer survivor story and drum circle. So we do different kinds of events, as well as we have a podcast that is called Growing a Healthy Child. And that is about how can we feed our children in ways to prevent the onset of type 2 diabetes, cancers, heart disease, high blood pressure, and so many of the other chronic illnesses that never used to affect children at all and now affect them more frequently at younger ages with poorer outcomes. So that's a lot of what happens with the organization itself. We also have a major project that we work on. It's called 6 Million Seeds is the project. That's kind of the large name. And then there are lots of little sub projects that fall under that. One of them is called More Plants on Plates. And that is a project that we work in conjunction with another nonprofit called Balanced. And our goal there is to get children and families and food service directors at schools to come together, because there's a law in Illinois that says children can receive a plant-based lunch with a prior request. So for food service directors, how do they supply that? What supply chains are they going to use? What products, how can we test? What vendors? How do you get your staff to go along with a change in menu like that? How do you manage your personnel hours, and how do you juggle your budget? Well, these different kinds of things. And then from the student and parent side, how do you request plant-based lunches if that's what you want? So those are our biggest projects and our biggest ways that we kind of infiltrate. into the community. We'll work with that. More Plants on Plates project actually works in other states. It started in Illinois for sure, but we now have a couple schools in Michigan, I believe. So yeah, we're spreading and trying to share that message and support anybody who's interested in eating a healthier, having a healthier eating pattern than what we see in the typical American diet.
Right, and that's so important. Do you have any experience that stands out as like a very big memorable experience with a child or a family that really was an aha moment?
Yeah, there are quite a few. So here I'll give. There are a couple that come to mind. I had the chance to work with one classroom in a school here locally. A group, it was a combination, a split class of fourth and fifth graders. And we went into the classroom once a month for the entire school year, just about. Skipped December because it's too crazy in December. But we went the rest of the months of the school year. One time, every time we went, we would bring something for the kids to eat, right? At first, the children were really scared, like defensive, like, I don't know what that is. I don't eat green things. I don't like spices. I don't like this. I never tried that. So the first time we went, we took them spaghetti with, well, actually it was rotini pasta, spiral pasta with spaghetti sauce. And we also had some, extra Italian herbs in there. We had some zucchini in there and some onions, right? Just nothing, to me, nothing too exotic, right? Pretty tame stuff. But the children were like really put off by it. Some of the kids had never had that before. Most of the kids actually. So that was the first time. We went back the second time. And every time we went, we did a little lesson. And the kids are, bouncing around and being noisy like kids do. But we did a little lesson every time. We talked about the microbiome. We talked about what is food? Why do we eat food? Where does food come from? What happens when we eat food that's stuff that's not really food, right? Like you're eating cakes and cookies all day, or you're going different places and getting food that's not really nutritious. And one of the things we had to be careful of was the school itself was located in an area that was economically disadvantaged. So we had to be really careful that we didn't insult any of the children with what we were talking about food, because they're literally in that classroom. One of the girls, her grandmother owned 3 McDonald's restaurants. So they ate McDonald's multiple times per week,
Oh,
right? And she was probably fairly well off economically. And then you had other kids who were, they got chicken nuggets every night, or they got, school lunches, pepperoni pizza and corn dogs. So you have to be really sort of walking this fine line. You don't want to insult anyone. You don't want to make a child feel bad because they're eating a certain thing. And, you don't want them to think that their parents don't love them because they're feeding them chicken nuggets every night. That's not the case. The parent is doing the best the parent can do, right? But anyway, after going there probably 8 times or so, well, I'll even back it up. By the time we got there, maybe the 4th time, they were so excited for us to come and to see what we had. Like, we laid out a salad bar. They just tore through the salad bar. Red cabbage, olives, field greens, all onion pieces, all kind of stuff. Beets. They were amazed, right? They loved it. By the last time we went, we did a section on the impact of food on the planet, what we choose and how it affects different ecosystems. And the teacher that we were working with was really, really very good. And she would sort of get the kids prepped, teaching them about what we were talking about before we got there, because I would always send the lesson plan to her ahead of time. So that time they had been looking at what was going on. Earth Month was April. So they had already been talking about the impact of what's going on in Earth and extinctions and things like that. And by the end of the session that we did in April, where we were talking about what happens in the rainforest and the impact of our food choices and how that makes, contributes to deforestation of the rainforest, we did a couple of other exercises. We read a book. One of them was called There's a Orangutan in My Bedroom. If you ever see that one, such a cute story. Really, 2 minutes. You could look it up on YouTube. It's red, it's animated, so cute and very powerful. And by the end of that lesson, the kids were saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't want to eat meat anymore, but my mom or my grandma has McDonald's. How do I say this to her? So I think the most powerful takeaway there was the children came away with it, came away from it with an understanding that they have something to say. They have they're a little bit more empowered. They could go back to their parents or their grandparents and ask, could I have a salad today? Could I eat tangerines this week? Things like that. That was pretty powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very simple, right? You're not overwhelming, and we know, well, we can see how kind you are, and going in and just allowing, the newness, right? The discovery of these foods, like here's the foods, and let's see what happens, right? The curiosity in that.
Yeah, the curiosity is a really big thing. I'm glad you mentioned that, allowing them to be curious. Kids, we over years, we've kind of forgotten that kids are naturally curious. So often they're sitting now with their mobile device or their, whatever, and they're just absorbed scrolling and touching the screen. And we forget, some kids are absolutely already at a very young age addicted to screens, right? But they're really naturally curious, and they do really, really well when you allow them to experience different foods and get involved with either cooking or shopping, chopping, creating the meal, growing the food. It really helps. They kind of, it's going to be kind of like a pun, but they blossom looking at and experiencing food, where it comes from and how to eat it in different ways. It's really powerful.
That's beautiful. Yes. And what are the health problems that we're seeing in children these days as compared to when we grew up?
Oh my goodness. Since 1970, 75, somewhere in there, we started to see the obesity and overweight rates start to climb in children, such that now it's like, 1 in 5 or one in 5, I think, is obese. 1 in 4, if you add overweight and obesity together, it might even be worse than that or more prevalent. We see increased issues with type 2 diabetes, which of course runs hand in hand with overweight and obesity, right? And with the type 2 diabetes, then you get to see heart disease, high blood pressure, running along with, because all those diseases run together, right? They feed off of each other, so to speak. So we're seeing that happen. Of course, there are neurodevelopmental issues. Now, I want to, just make it really clear. I am not saying that food causes neurodevelopmental issues, although there is some evidence to suggest something like that. I don't want to go in. That's a whole can of worms for another day.
Okay.
But feeding children appropriately, keeping their diet as low as possible in ultra-processed foods, chemicals, additives, conditioners, texturizers, preservatives, artificial dyes, flavors, and all that other fun stuff, goes a long way in helping them manage the neurodevelopmental type symptoms. So it is well recognized that children who are diagnosed and show signs of attention deficit and hyperactivity do better in many cases without the ultra processed stuff, without the dyes and the sugars and the refined products, right? The high chemical nature of ultra processed foods puts them at a disadvantage. There are also there's some research and some anecdotal sort of cases where we hear of kids who have, oh my goodness, I'm thinking Alzheimer's. No, that's me. Autism, that's the one, autism spectrum disorder. That they do better when you can take the chemicals and additives and just plain non-food, food-like substances out of their diet. They do better. So almost every health biomarker indicator diagnosis is only getting worse among children. It's in the population in general. The population in general is suffering. The children are just a reflection of what's going on in the entire population, really. And they all do better. Every marker does better when you remove the offending parts of the diet. The more you can use food as medicine, the better off the body, the organism does.
Right. Yeah, I have a friend that has a couple of children that are autistic, and she cooks for them, and she's very careful with their diet because she's following with what you say. It makes a huge difference. I mean, one of her children is very, I don't know how to say it. He punches holes in the wall, and it's very hard for her. So she makes sure that she does the best she can to give him clean food, all of them a clean food.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. And it makes me sad to think that our society, our medical profession, our educational environments don't really take that seriously. You know, there's so many children. There's millions, millions and by millions of children in schools. I don't know, 30 million. I should look the number up. There's, we say 14 million living with food insecurity. So there's at least that many children, right? There's way more than that, I'm sure. But we don't seem to take into account that the quality of the food is important. It's important to fill a belly. Yeah, no, I mean, a hungry child is not in any condition to learn in school, right? You need to put something in the belly. But if we could look at the quality of the food that we give our children, the whole country would be better off. My honest belief, the strongly held belief, is that we are undermining our children's human potential by not feeding them healthy foods. We are robbing them. And then we want to know why. Why are they misbehaving in school? Or why is our ability to do math, or why are our math scores so low? Why is our reading comprehension score so low? Why in some states are the high school graduation so low? Why in some communities is there a school to prison pipeline? Well, there are lots of reasons for all of those things, but food is part of it. The quality of the food we feed our children is important.
That is so true. And what about people that can't afford, people that are going to, let's say, the food pantries? What would you say to someone like that isn't able to pick and choose what they eat?
Right. Such a good question. And, as I am hoping that the options that are confronting our communities now, or the conditions that are in our communities now, and the potential for people to lose supplemental nutrition assistance, SNAP benefits. I'm hoping that it doesn't really cause more problems, right? Right now, if a person is using a food pantry, and we are at risk of losing support for food pantries as well, if that hasn't happened already, what we would suggest is, when you go to the food pantry, see about getting dried beans, brown rice. Some of these things are available. Quinoa, the dried beans and the grains would be great. If there's canned vegetables, okay, get those. Try and get low sodium or rinse them when you get them home. Same thing for fruits. If there's canned fruits at the pantry, get those. See if you can get them packed in water or fruit juice. Try to avoid the syrup, right? Sometimes at the pantries, there will be fresh fruits and vegetables. Do what you can to get those, for sure. Those are the biggest recommendations for pantries. If you're in a community where there's, say, not a decent grocery store, a well-supplied or well-stocked grocery store, see what you can do about, maybe Amazon, or carpooling with a friend, or trying to get to the grocery store on a bus or something like that. Because really the cost that you incur for eating poor quality food, even though it seems like, oh, this might be too expensive. Really, I don't think it is. A lot more expensive than anything else. But the cost also includes how sick you're making yourself. That's part of the cost of eating low quality food. So if you can eat a higher quality diet, you can actually save money in the long run, in years of life, in vitality, in, attaining whatever highest potential you can attain,
That's very true.
Yeah.
Well,
I just think about it, these are such heavy subjects. These are socially impactful, and they're not easy to fix, right? This is what I call a wicked problem. It's a socially gnarly, intractable, seems insolvable type problem. Even though anybody looking at it can see, well, it would be easy to solve. Just feed people appropriate, healthy food. But somehow there are mechanisms and power dynamics in place that make it really difficult sometimes. So people have to be creative and willing to step outside their comfort zone, maybe, to make a difference with food issues and food system issues.
Right. So I have another question, but I want to go ahead and show Ellen's comment about how she's doing everything, and she is teaching kids sewing camps right now and helping kids see compassion by sewing pigs, chicks, and cows. That's beautiful.
Yay,
And also
Ellen.
doing food.
Yes. Thank you for doing that work, Ellen.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So when our children are so used to eating these heavily, sugary foods, and then they eat an apple or something, and it's like possibly they don't taste it. What needs to happen there?
Well, keep giving it to them, right? So a lot of our children are used to eating what we call hyperpalatable foods, right? Foods that are designed in a lab and they're not even really foods. Let's just make that clear. These are fake food-like substances that satisfy taste bud, cravings, desires. They do nothing for the body once they get past your taste buds. In fact, they may be dangerous for your body once you swallow them, right? So our kids are very often used to eating that type of food, so it's the sugar, salt, and fat combinations that make your eyes bug out of your head and keep those products flying off the shelves, right? So it is a gradual and continual repetitive introducing the child to other types to real food. So we want to get them to eat an apple, maybe take them to the grocery store, depending upon their age, of course. And you just say, okay, I want you to pick out, let's say, 2 different types of apple. Pick out a green one and a red one. And that's really all you need. Just don't get too fancy, right? A green one and a red one, or a yellow one and a green one, whatever you want to do. And you take the apple home and you say, okay, we're going to do a taste test. I need your opinion on these. This is serious now, right? I really need your opinion. So we're going to cut this apple, slice it up. Okay. taste this yellow one. And you could even do it blindfold. Make a game, Okay, taste this one. What does that taste like? You don't like that one. What don't you like about it? The way it feels in your mouth. Okay, what does it feel like in your mouth? Really get them to describe what's going on. Get them engaged. Get them, up here in their head a bit. Okay. All right. Good. 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 That's great. That was good information. Okay. Now we're going to try this other apple. Okay. No, leave your blindfold on. Okay. Give you this. Okay. What does this taste like? And go through the same sort of thing. Okay. So you don't like the way it feels in your mouth. Is it crunchy? What would you call that? Oh, it's kind of mushy. Oh, okay. You don't like the feel of mushy. Okay, good. All right. What is it? Sweet? Is it sour? Get them to describe it. And then next time, do something else, right? Okay, we're going to try these apples again, but we're going to try them with peanut butter. Okay, so we're just going to take a slice. Okay, you like that? You do? You don't? Okay, great. You go through the same thing, right? You're being a little bit of a game show host in a way, but okay, go ahead. Do it. And then try it with something else. Okay, we're going to try it now with cinnamon. How about cinnamon? We'll put some cinnamon. Try that. Oh, okay, now we're going to try it as a dip. We're going to dip it with peanut butter and honey, or peanut butter and maple syrup, let's say, right? And put it in there, right? Mix that up, dip that. So just keep offering it to the child. Oh, no, this time we're going to cook it. We're going to try making applesauce, right? So we're going to cook it. Okay, does the yellow one taste different than the red one? Tell me which one you like better. So it's just a constant exploration and building the curiosity, continually supporting their exploration of foods. And that's an apple. You can do the same thing between broccoli and cauliflower, or try zucchini and cucumber. People often get those confused looking at them, very different, but they look so similar. So any of those things, green grapes and purple grapes, a peach versus a mango. They're very similar, except they're not, right? You can play these games. That's what I would do. Same thing with beans. Black beans taste very different than chickpeas, right? Very different. If you want to encourage the child to try something new, get them to cook the thing, make the thing in a salad, make the thing in a, really like the cooking. So I'm thinking about make black bean tacos. Wonderful stuff. Slice up some avocado on there, throw some corn on there, get some tomatoes, a little bit of lettuce or cabbage if you really want to get exotic, put some good seasonings on there, get some good, taco seasoning, or if you like tahini is a big, easy favorite. Try that, They're just, it's a constant offering and encouraging the child to be curious. And that just goes a long, long way. The child is already curious. They're born curious. They have to be born curious, or they'll just lay in their crib and never get up, right?
Right. Yeah, it's important to do this also as adults, because we can get trapped into the same thing, kind of same way of eating, when there's so many other exotic or different foods. Like if we go to the farmer's market and try something new every week, the exploration and cooking and everything.
Yes, totally. How many adults do you know that were probably picky eaters when they're kids, and they're still picky eaters as 50-year-olds? There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. You're right. I know that's one thing that when people, the idea that veganism is going to you're just not going to have a good selection. I mean, I'm eating things that I never would have eaten before as a vegan. It's exciting, and I feel much better. And the whole food plant-based is the way to go. For me, and I think your body really responds to that. I ate a lot of meat as a child, and oh my gosh. So I'll say this: I was chased around with all sorts of laxatives, and I remember that, and it was frightening for me. I was a little kid running from the nurse, and it was because I'm sure I was being fed that heavy meat animal products diet. And since I stopped eating that, my body works the way it should work, right? That went on for years of this dysfunctional body, this dysfunctional microbiome and stomach and issues, and but I'm sure that my parents thought they were doing the best thing for me.
Oh, absolutely. I think about my mom, she was convinced we should have ham and bacon and prime rib or whatever. She was cooking steaks and pork chops every day.
Yeah,
But that, you go back to culturally, that's important in our culture. That's a sign that you have attained a certain level of economic wherewithal, that you can put meat on the table every night. Who's bringing home the bacon, right?
right.
It's a thing. Meat is a thing. It's important. It's about your success. Only poor people need to eat beans and rice in this culture, right? Which is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, and really a bad idea. Everybody should eat beans and rice. Everybody should eat oats and quinoa and, oh my goodness. But that's not what is prized in this culture. That's part of what, before I was talking about wicked problems that are intractable. They're held in place by its mentality. It's the only thing that holds it in place, right? Beliefs and a power dynamic where somebody is benefiting from the situation as it is, right? But it's counterproductive, it's dangerous, right? But that's what keeps it in place. Somebody is gaining from teaching us that you should eat meat and drink milk and have animal products every day, multiple times a day, because that's what rich people do. That's what people who have attained a certain level of economic status do, right?
Right. And it's kind of come full circle for my family coming from Mexico and eating corn tortillas and beans and rice. And then my parents coming here and then eating the standard American diet. And now here I am where I eat corn tortillas all the time, beans all the time. So, and it's very boring, I feel like, but I love it, right? I love my black beans and corn tortillas, and it's a quick grab, and my dog loves the tortillas also, and he actually loves beans too. But nevertheless, and it's just kind of come full circle in that way, and with my parents. And but yeah, I saw how they really felt good about giving us all the meat because it meant many things.
Yes, it does. It has a lot of meaning. It doesn't mean, it ought to mean that you are getting all the nutrients you need. This is a wholesome food. It will help you grow and learn and stay strong. It will help you heal or prevent illness, right? And heal from trauma. That's what food ought to do. It should help you think. It should help you, that's what food ought to be. But we have made it into something else. It means love. It means status. It means connection. It means all kinds of things, right? That it's not originally, really. Fundamentally, it does not mean that, but those are meanings we give to what we eat.
You're right. It means you did good in school. Let's head to the ice cream parlor. It's
It's a reward. Absolutely. Right. Right. It's a celebration. I'm getting married. We're going to have a 6-tier cake, and we're going to have, surf and turf. And, it's a celebration. We put so much into it. It means okay, so my mother, her family was from like the Carolinas and Virginia area. So she was, and I said this on other podcasts, she was a good Southern cook in the Southern Black tradition. So she was excellent with cooking pig's feet and hog maws, chitlins, fat back with cracklins. She masterful. So for a long time, and in a lot of families, we equate those foods with love. My mother gave me that. My mother loved me, so that means love, right? We put all that together, string it all together. That's what that means. And of course, that's what mom was trying to do. She's trying to feed these children, right? But that once you get to a certain age and you know better, it's time to release some of those old beliefs, which are actually detrimental to your health. You know, I ate many of those dishes, many, many, many times.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I ate pig's feet too. It seems crazy now. And then I remember my mom saying one day, "Don't tell her what she's eating. Don't tell her what," you know.
oh,
Who
that would make me not want to eat it.
who knows what it was?
Right. Right.
Anyway, we've moved on from there. So,
Right.
oh
Right.
my gosh, y'all. So, let me just say, JJ's here from Vegan Knowledge, and she says,
Hey, okay.
she's sweet. So everybody
Yeah.
check out her channel. And I see we're coming to the end of our time. And so everybody please go to www.hall-creatures.org, and we would appreciate a one-time or reoccurring donation to keep this going. And we'd love to hear where can we find you, Marilyn? Tell us some final thoughts.
Oh, sure. So you can find me on pbnm.org. You can also email me directly. That's always good. And that's my first and last name, Meryl Fury. No dashes or dots or anything. Meryl Fury at pbnm.org. That's really the best way to find me. We do have a Facebook page, Plant-Based Nutrition Movement. You can look for that. As far as what's coming up next, probably we're all the projects that I mentioned earlier, More Plants on Plates is rolling forward. Very grateful for that project and the partnerships that we formed around that project. We have 9 schools in Illinois who will be offering plant-based meals for this coming school year. And we are in close conversation with them to make sure that what they're offering is palatable and culturally appropriate and nutritious. And we support them in their efforts to do that, which is highlight of my day every day. And then I'll also be at the HELP conference, which I mentioned earlier. That's in Florida, October 10th through 12th. And we have our Child Nutrition Summit is an annual event that's coming up in December. And then there's other things sprinkled through there. So if you go on our website, pbnm.org, you can look at our events page and you'll see what's on the horizon for us coming up in the next 6 months or so. And other things get added as they come about.
Great. And also, I remembered that you're going to be at VCOP 22, Vegan Convergence of the People, the Climate Healers, and that's July 26th and 27th, 2 days. And you are the keynote speaker. Is it for Saturday?
I think it's Saturday. Yeah, the 26th, I believe.
Yeah. So everyone, please go to climatehealers.org and register. Make sure you register early so you can hear Meryl speak at VCOP 22. And right now, it's escaping me what the name of VCOP 22 is, but nevertheless, please go. And
I think we're trying to get to Planet B. I think it's something about Planet B.
Yes, thriving on Planet B.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, and I'm speaking on Sunday. Also, who knows what time, but anyway, sign up and we will all see you there. And let me show that JJ's last comment here. I love what you're doing, Meryl. Thank you.
Thank you, JJ. We love what you're doing too. Keep going, girl. Keep doing it.
I know we're all doing our part. So thank you so much for this conversation, Meryl. This has been fun. And well, keep up the good work. Tell all the kids we said hello.
Well, thank you. I will do that. And you keep up the good work too. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us, everybody.